Right, Brian, 4.5 years, happy years at Cheltenham Town. Tell me a bit about, first of all, how you joined the club.
Um, I joined after meeting a lot of my friends. We'd all been released. 8 of us had been released from Cheltenham at the same time. It was a soul-destroying period for all of us, and I was lucky enough to go to Torquay or be offered something at Torquay to stay in the pro game. And all the other lads, or a number of the other lads, had decided they were going to go to Cheltenham at the time. I went to Torquay. Pretty much been on record for lots of years as saying I didn't particularly enjoy it. Wasn't my best decision I've ever made. I met up with a few other lads halfway through the football season at a wedding who suggested that we, come and play at Cheltenham. And that's exactly what I did. John Murphy gave me a ring one day. I drove up and saw him, had a walk round, saw what it was all about, and thought, yeah, that's for me. And that's how I signed.
Yeah, first season memorable for a number of reasons. Southern League title, you scored in the game that clinched promotion. What stands out about that season for you?
What stands out now is all the photos I see. And a stupid haircut I had, and the silly kit we were wearing. I can't remember too much about it at the time. I do remember the penalty. I can't remember the build up to the game or ever realising whether there was any pressure on it. Kind of when you're playing, you're fully engrossed in the game, and I suppose then it's afterwards you kind of realise that you've scored and you've gone up on the back of that. I wouldn't say that me scoring that goal was the reason why we went up. The reason why we went up is we had some good footballers. We were obviously one of the best sides in it, else we wouldn't have won it in the first place. Lots of lads, if not every single lad, made a massive contribution to the reason why we went up. Probably a little unfair to say, if the penalty hadn't gone in, that's the reason why we went up, because it wasn't the reason why we went up. The reason why we went up is we had a really good football team that was better than some of the teams we played and deservedly won.
Yeah, Cheltenham have been formed for a long time, 100 years nearly, and I think never really won anything like that before. So you said that you had a lot of good friends in that team. What do you think was the key to John Murphy getting that promotion that season as manager?
I think the key was two things really. One is we had some good footballers, and the other thing is the camaraderie we had. I'd never experienced that. I'd always been in the full-time game where it's very dog-eat-dog. It was very kind of, you wanted to be in the team at the detriment of somebody else. All of a sudden you're in an environment where everybody talks to you, everyone's pally to you go for a night out and everyone goes together. You're getting in a change room where everyone gets on, and it was novel to me. I really, really, really enjoyed it. I'm not saying I didn't enjoy and I wasn't grateful for my experiences playing full time, but if I had my time over again, I would have played non-league football.
Yeah.
And I think what Murph had going for him is he assembled a side of good footballers that were there all for the right reasons, all because we're never money orientated in those days. It was, we wanted to be together because we liked each other, and here we are 30 years on. I'm still talking and socialising with the same people, and it's novel in football. I don't think those times will ever come around again.
Yeah, and up to what is now the Blue Square Bet Premier for the first time in the club's history. What was that like, stepping up to a national division?
It was kind of, from our point of view, we played obviously against some good sides, some well-established non-league football teams in front of some bigger crowds. I think we remembered some nicer grounds and bigger crowds as the two things that came to me. Our first year we just pretty much played on adrenaline and no fear. And we didn't really, I think we played Maidstone on the opening day of the season, and the big boys, and we beat them at Wadden Road, and everyone's thinking, who are these little minnows? What are they doing beating Maidstone? And I think we had pretty much a first season like that, where we just went and surprised a few.
Yeah.
And, didn't surprise ourselves because we knew we could play, but we started surprising a few, and then starting to realise that we were actually better than we'd probably given ourselves credit for.
Yeah. And who would be some of the players that stood out? I know it was a good all-round team, but if you pick out a few that were talented in that team that you enjoyed playing with?
Yeah, like I said, I think you don't win the league if all your players aren't talented. I think that's for sure, because you can't carry anyone and win anything. But I've been on record a number of times of saying Mark Boylan's probably the best footballer I played with, both in non-league and full-time. I'd go as far as to say both of those, and that, I wouldn't say that lightly. Ray Baverstock, Nicky Jordan, Paul Collicott, Steve Abley, all those people, just fantastic players in their time. All did something different. We had a mixture of different lads doing different things, and a quite unique ability from Murph to be able to gel that together into a side. I think I don't think we were ever the biggest or the strongest, but we didn't get walked all over, that's for sure.
Did anyone at the club even have dare to think about being in the Football League at that time, do you think? Because what the club's gone on to achieve in the last 15 or 16 years, it's been an incredible change.
No, I think in those days it was the 92 Football League clubs, and that was it. It was very much a closed door. We didn't really think about... I'm not even sure the football club would have thought about the progression of the football club really at that time. I think we were just kind of caught up in the euphoria of saying we've done really well last season, we've won something, we've had a fantastic year the second year at some big grounds, and all of a sudden we kind of got a little bit of a snowball going where we kind of, we were gaining respect from other non-league football teams, and we were putting Cheltenham on the map to a degree. And I don't think we didn't have any ideas of grandeur, if that's what you mean. I don't think we were that type of boys, I think we were just kind of, we played there because we wanted to play there. We played because we liked being there.
Yeah.
And I think if we had our time again, almost every player would probably say his best times were at Cheltenham.
Yeah. You're now in your second spell at Cirencester Town as manager. How's it going here?
Yeah, we're okay. Yeah, we're looking forward to the start of the new season like we always do. Appetite's still the same for it. We finished last season from Christmas onwards very well. Very well. What I have learnt to do here is understand the limitations and the restraints of being at a club like ours. I get frustrated that we haven't got a wage bill to compete. I get frustrated that we don't play in a better league, or we don't do this, that and the other. But I also understand now, being really friendly with the chairman, how much that all costs, where that money's got to come from, and know that we couldn't afford to do it either. So we're kind of, I think we've punched above our weight for a lot of years, really, to be fair, and we'll continue to do so. I think we've turned this football club into, along the lines of Cheltenham, really, a friendly, nice football club that people enjoy playing at. That we obviously want to be winners. We get cheesed off for about 15 minutes after every game if we haven't won, but then sometimes realism comes into it. Very, very similar, in my opinion, to where we were at Cheltenham, to be honest. If we used to lose some games in those days, people would say, well, it's only Cheltenham, it's only a little side. Very similar. But the ethos that I've built at this football club is very similar to that early 80s at Cheltenham. Some lads like playing here. At the end of last season, I was having lads asking me to train. I was trying to have the night off myself, and they would turn to me, can we train? Because they wanted to be together and they wanted to play football. I think I might have turned the clock back 30 years here.
And away from football, you've been in windows. You got your own window business?
I've gone after the recession 2008. I've gone back to working on my own, which I thoroughly enjoy. I'm 50 now, so I don't have to do 5 days a week and score myself. I enjoy being back on my van and driving around doing my little bits and pieces. Yeah.
Brilliant.